Out and more with Democratic strategist Kevin Walling and Trump 2020 senior legal advisor Jenna Ellis. Great to have you both with us.
Great.
Hey, Shannon. Hey, Jenna. Good evening.
Hi.
All right, a lot to try to get to, but let's start with this meeting today of a number of House Republicans at the White House saying that they will step up on January 6th when it's time for Congress to certify the Electoral College vote and lodge some kind of objection. It's a very long process. They need a senator. There have been rumored talks of various names who may get involved. Nobody seems to be fully embracing this publicly yet. Jenna, is it worth the time?
Absolutely. Election integrity and upholding our Constitution and our rule of law is always worth the time and the effort. And so that's what Mark Meadows tweeted today. Stay tuned. And I think what we've seen is a failure of the judicial branch to weigh in on election integrity. That was an absolute failure there. There's been a failure of the state legislatures to do their constitutionally mandated obligation. And so what President Trump and the Trump legal team are willing to do and what we're continuing to do is to fight by every legal and constitutionally appropriate method to make sure that we preserve and protect election integrity. And we know that at least 6 states violated their rules in the administration of the 2020 election. We can't allow corruption to prevail, because if cheating and cheaters prosper, then we'll never have free and fair elections again in this country.
Okay, asked about it tonight. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris on Capitol Hill. Is it doable? What about these efforts to stop this in Congress? She said no and rolled her eyes. There are a number of Republicans who say, let's let the legal things play out. But I got a tip tonight from one of the attorneys who's been working on this case in Georgia, where they outlined scores and scores of people they say voted in Georgia, and they can show that they were ineligible. Now, Kevin, they say a judge down there will not assign someone to take up the case, won't assign a judge to hear it, to set a hearing date or anything. I've reached out to Fulton County down there to try to get some explanation. If that's accurate, why not? But if the cases can't even be heard, how can the Trump team, be satisfied that they're getting their day in court?
Yes, Shannon, it's a good question. I mean, the cases have already been heard. In the case of Georgia alone, the state certified their elections with 3 different recounts, all showing the same result of Joe Biden being the president-elect, the 46th president of the United States. So the conversation earlier with Jenna, there might be energy with some Republican House members that are interested in doing this on January 6th and contesting this election. But you're seeing Republican leadership in Mitch McConnell, John Thune, John Cornyn, the senior leaders of the Republican Senate caucus, all saying that this is a terrible idea and that we should not go down this path. The American people are moving forward. Joe Biden is moving forward with putting together this administration. We're past the time for these court battles that's already played out, and we're less than a month from the inauguration.
Okay, want to get a quick comment from you both on the newest filing. I haven't seen it yet, but the Trump team has told us, and Jenna, maybe you can fill us in, that you filed a petition with the U.S. Supreme Court asking that 3 different decisions by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court be blocked or overturned. Quick comment from you. They haven't waded in and wanted to get involved yet. Do you think they will this time? And then, Kevin, you close this out.
They may. And, it was really unfortunate that the Supreme Court didn't take up the Texas case in terms of original jurisdiction. So I really don't have a lot of hope that they're going to take up this case. But it's important that we continue these legal challenges. And we haven't had our day in court. And I noticed that Kevin didn't talk at all about that. We haven't had an evidentiary hearing. But the American people see the evidence for themselves. The judicial branch absolutely should weigh in. And if the Supreme Court isn't willing to address election integrity, then they are violating their constitutional obligation to be unbiased and to make sure to protect against the disenfranchisement of the American people.
All I'll say, Jenna, is I adore you. You've had 60 different cases go before courts. All of them have been thrown out. You've had your days in courts. The American people need to move forward, and we need to get Joe Biden inaugurated on January 20th.
Okay.
Learn you back.
A lot more that we could dispute about that and discuss about that, but we got to leave it there. Thank you both. Okay, 2020
Thanks, Jenna.